This growing season has been quite eventful. I've had some roadblocks, like moving apartments and dealing with really annoying pests, but it has also given me a lot of really exciting growth that I can't wait to share with you all today. Hello, and welcome to the Gothic jungle. The growing season overall is such an exciting time with really ideal conditions for plants, and talking about my plant growth as it comes to an end seems like a fun way to celebrate as we kind of go into the dark and cold winter months here in New England, and you got to start gearing up to take care of your plants against these really harsh conditions. So today I want to go through some wins that I had throughout the season, new plants that I added to my collection, and the plant that I am most excited or proud about at the end. So without further ado, let's get started. Starting off with some early season wins, I actually had this happen before I moved into my new apartment, but my Monstera deliciosa gave me its first interfenestrations. I was so excited when that first leaf unfurled with one. I felt like I finally made it in terms of taking care of this plant or like figuring out my personal method for taking care of them in my apartment. I didn't expect it to happen so quickly. I've only had the plant for like a little over a year, and it started off like kind of small. It had like some leaves maybe the size of my hands, but I didn't think it was gonna like grow into anything like this for a while. So I only have had it for a little over a year. It's had a lot of on and off growth spurts as I kind of navigate through pests and figuring out humidity and light and just kind of what works for me in my space. But these two leaves on the deliciosa have gotten huge, and they're so beautiful, but unfortunately they aren't absolutely perfect. Thrips have been using them as a snack, but hopefully once they're all off the plants, my next leaves will be even more beautiful and the plant will continue to really make my plant collection feel like a jungle. Speaking of moving into my new apartment, I also got a new shelf to display my plants, which definitely helped me spread out my plants a little bit more, give them some breathing room to grow, and actually have them all displayed really nicely to the point where I'm not really ignoring plants because they're just tucked into the back of whatever shelf I could find for really cheap. And then of course, alongside a bunch of new grow lights, which I'll talk about a little bit later, this kind of really helped me visualize my collection a lot easier. I really like the setup actually in this photo. It's not what my current setup is right now, but my plants look really good here, so yeah. Another win that I had early on in the season was that two of my alocasias bloomed. I don't think all of my alocasias bloomed. I don't really remember how many I have. But the first one that bloomed was my Alocasia tanderusa, a very big plant. I've had this one definitely over a year, maybe a year and a half. Can't quite remember. But this is like a pretty mature plant. Like the leaves have gotten pretty big. But it bloomed, and I was really excited about it because I feel like when a plant blooms, like you've mastered the plant. That plant is clearly very happy. So I was very excited about it. But the bad part is that it smelled really bad. And I couldn't figure out whether to cut it off before or after the bloom had opened, and like if I had to like wait it out until it died, or if I could just chop it off beforehand and it wouldn't sprout another one, because I was reading a lot of conflicting advice online. But yeah, it smelled really bad. The bloom lasted maybe 2 weeks, but the smell in my apartment lingered for like a month. It was very bad. If it blooms again for me next year, I might try and cut it off before it actually opens and see if that makes a difference in terms of like, is my plant actually going to push out another leaf, or will it just keep pushing out flowers until it's kind of gone through its cycle? But I was really happy that it did bloom. It made me feel good. And then the other alocasia that I had bloom, again, kind of early on, I think it was like maybe a couple days after the tanderusa was done blooming, was my Alocasia Black Velvet. That bloom was fine. Didn't really smell like anything. It lasted a lot shorter, but also the plant is a lot smaller, so I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it. But no complaints on that one. I think as I get more confident in my plant care, something that I do want to do in the future is try to like crossbreed some of the plants. So maybe if I get really lucky next year and my alocasias are just as happy, maybe I'll be able to breed them and come up with something really cool and new. If it works, who knows? But yeah, definitely very exciting that I was able to get 2 of my plants to bloom like that. Moving on to some new plants that I added to the collection just in the short period of the growing season, starting off with the Cape Sundew. This plant also bloomed for me, so kind of a bit of a transition from the last segment. I love these guys. They're so cool. I was definitely looking for another carnivorous plant because unfortunately my Pinguiculus ilosecta died. It really had trouble with the move and I tried to revive it and I was getting there pretty successfully, but then I just overwatered it and I killed it. I didn't even know you could overwater carnivorous plants. I thought they just kind of like sitting in water, but lesson learned there. I think in the future I'll definitely, want to get another Silosecta back into the collection, but I was really on the lookout for a carnivorous plant. I had a lot of fungus gnats around and I was like, okay, I really need another one. And I got gifted this for my birthday from my sister. Shout out to my sister. Thank you. But I love this little guy. Again, the blooms were very, very interesting to see as the tendrils kind of uncurl and then one at a time, each of like the buttercup, like purpley flowers kind of bloom, which was really, really cool. Kind of reminds me of a firework, which is really cool. But also kind of as we go into the winter season, I'm a little nervous on how to make it go through its dormancy period without killing it. But you know what? That's going to be an adventure. We're going to see how it goes, do everything we can to not kill it. The second plant that I want to talk about is the Hoya Serpent Splash. It's a Hoya. I gotta show the bloom, so here's the bloom. But these guys I'm really, really excited about. This was a wish list plant of mine. So if you go and you watch my 15, I think, wish list plants for 2025, that was a fun video, by the way. I'm very happy that a lot of people liked watching that because I had a great time filming it and making it. But yeah, this was a wish list plant. I didn't really plan on buying it this year, but I don't know. I saw it online and I was like, ooh, better strike while the iron's hot and add this guy to the collection. But it's a teeny tiny little guy. I'm really excited about the splash. I almost got it without the splash and then I was like, ooh, but I love variegation. So then I bought the splash. But I know a lot of YouTubers that I've seen online when I was trying to like make sure I could take care of it and give it the right conditions, they've been able to up the variegation through a couple different methods that I'm excited to try. So that'd be really cool if I was able to get more splash on the plant, but again, it's beautiful just the way it is. And it has already given me a set of 2 new leaves that have grown in my care. So I'm feeling really, really good about this guy. I'm happy that she is thriving in ambient conditions. And then finally, for the third new plant that we've added in the growing season is the Hoya Crayana Black. I've mentioned this plant plenty of times on this channel before, but just as a quick aside, blooms, I really, really hope I'll be able to get sometime because they're nice and purple and cool. But just as the overall care that I've had it in a really high humidity, but I definitely want to transition that to more ambient conditions. But I'm really happy with how dark I'm able to get the leaves. Through the sun stressing, I've just been able to get them basically almost black, which is very exciting, and I really like the look of this plant. Now, as we move on to the most impressive growth part of the video, I do want to mention that a lot of the reason why I'm just seeing so much growth so quickly is that I'm using a lot more light than I had originally thought when I was first starting out. I feel like a big thing with growing plants and growing them big and quickly, that bright indirect light can be very misleading, but honestly just blasting them with a ton of light without making them all crispy is really the way to go, and I feel like I've found to be the most helpful method for getting a lot of results quickly. Now, with that being said, I have some really, really exciting news that I didn't think was going to happen, but definitely happened and is a dream come true. So I am now an affiliate with a company you may have heard of called Soltech. I love Soltech lights. If any of you have been watchers of the channel for a little while, you'll notice that I already have 3 that I have bought with my own money. I think one of them was even like a Christmas gift like forever ago when they were like first starting out. I love how they look and operate within my space, so I'm definitely a big advocate for splurging on these lights if you're okay with spending a little bit of money on something really beautiful. So if you're thinking of getting yourself, a friend, or a family member a nice grow light from Soltech anytime, please use my code GOTHICJUNGLE at checkout and you get 15% off your order. If you do so, I get a small percentage of the sale to put towards growing the channel and to keep making videos like this for you guys that I hope you enjoy. But don't worry, it doesn't cost you any extra to do so. First and foremost, I want to talk about my really cool Anthurium hybrid that I got from Green Hues. I had this thing as like a little seedling, like maybe a year and a half ago. If I can find a picture, I'll put it in here, but apologies if I cannot. This thing has exploded with growth. It has huge black leaves. With each new leaf, the veining gets more and more colorful. I love the emergence. I think they start off red and then they get like purpley, and even like the veins themselves get kind of purpley and sparkly, and then they just darken into these beautiful, beautiful leaves. I'm getting a lot of new growth points as well. I think the humidity is really, really helping it just to push out so much all at once, which is a little bit overwhelming, I must admit. That's the only thing with anthuriums. They grow very quickly, so sometimes it can get a little overwhelming. I'm hoping as I kind of continue to develop my plant skills that I can separate it into more than one plant, so I can keep growing it that way, which would be really, really nice. Unfortunately, she has also suffered quite a bit of damage from thrips. Thrips got into the prop box that I have. That is a prop box / where I was keeping the Anthurium because I was really, really scared to take it out of high humidity because it was just doing so well. I just haven't been as on top of taking care of my Anthurium because it's in the box and I forget that it's there, and then the thrips are taking over and then I get stressed about it, and then when I come home from work, I'm tired and I don't want to do it, but I just need to bite the bullet and do it. Anyways, long rant, but the Anthurium is very, very beautiful, and I am so happy to have it as a part of my collection with its giant, giant leaves. Moving on to my Thai constellation. Guys, this one finally pushed out a leaf maybe like a couple weeks ago. I am so excited about it because I was so worried about it for the entire growing season. I was like, these are the ideal conditions. The Deliciosa is pushing out new leaves. Why isn't my Tycon doing anything? But then I moved it to a different corner away from all the thrips. I gave it one of my new soltech grow lights, and she's just been so happy since, and I'm hoping that she'll give me another leaf relatively soon. But just having her finally push out a new leaf, oh my gosh, guys, I can't express to you how excited I was about that. I am hoping to get some inner fenestrations within like the next 3 leaves or something like that. Considering how fast my Deliciosa was able to get to that point, I'm really hoping I can get to that point with my Tycon. Like, that's the dream. Like, the Tycon's my favorite plant. I want it to be like this big, beautiful thing that's just a real centerpiece in my room. My Spiritus Sancti is also getting very, very big, very, very quickly. Gotta love those philodendrons, also very fast growers like anthuriums. Thrips are making these guys' leaves a little less pretty, and all of the new leaves bend really aggressively towards my grow light. But I'm still very, very happy seeing those unique features come through with each new leaves. I'm really starting to get those lobes on the top part that just make it look really, really cool. So again, just increasing that light, like moving it from like the bottom part of my shelf to the top part of my shelf, like closer to the grow light, has just made such an insane difference. It's crazy how fast it's pushing it out. So I'm really excited about that. You'll notice a common theme here. I really need to get rid of these thrips. So I'll probably just have to space out my collection more and just give it a little bit more time and attention. Now, for my last plant before I mentioned the plant that I am just so excited about this season, is my Anthurium luxurians. Now, this guy's coming back from the dead but not in the way that you think. So at the beginning of the video, I believe if you were paying attention, you saw it in my little grow box on the top of the shelf, and it had this beautiful giant leaf. Well, those all fell apart. And it was on its last leaf that was just barely new and poking out. And I forgot that you can get root rot in your plants, because I haven't had that be an issue before. But unfortunately, the luxurians got root rot, and I just did not realize it for the longest time until I finally took care of it. But she's starting to bounce back, and I'm seeing a lot of really promising growth from the new leaf that's like poking out and starting to size up. And I really love the emergence on these leaves. I love that they start like red and you still get that texture, and then over time you just get that really, really dark pillowy look. But I was just so happy that I was able to get this guy to bounce back, because I was going to be really sad if I spent a bunch of money on this plant and it just like died. Now, for my final plant that I am just so excited about the growth that it has gone through this year is my Hoya linearis. I'm just so happy for how far this plant has come. I mean, just look at it, how it was like a little over a year ago, and now it's just so massively big. This thing is just, oh my goodness, it has like, I don't even know how much of a growth, but it's visibly larger every single week. It's just consistently pushing out growth, and maybe I guess it just loves the conditions that I have it in right now, but I'm just so excited about it. I don't think the linearis is quite as tall as my silver string of glory, but it is certainly getting there. Let me tell you, that thing is growing like a weed, but I'm so excited about it because I have this like ideal setup where I just have Hoya linearis just like beautifully draped from like the wall or something like that. So this plant has been the most exciting because it's taking a step closer to that dream of having it just grow absolutely massive, and it's so beautiful. So that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed kind of going through some really good highlights of my collection. I'm hoping that everything will survive through the winter period, and we'll have even more exciting results next growing season. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys soon. Video's over now. Bye!